Hello, and welcome to a discussion of the issues of Campaign 2008. I'm Chris Kergard. With me today, representing the Democratic viewpoint, is Jason Jenkins, and representing the Republican viewpoint is Ginger Hermann. Our topic today is the issue of Iran. On this topic, Senator Obama initially said that he would meet with Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, and then, without preconditions, and now he says he's not sure, quote, Ahmadinejad is the right person to meet with right now, end quote. However, he says that direct diplomacy with Iranian leaders would give the U.S. more credibility to press for tougher international sanctions. He has further said that he would intensify diplomatic pressure on Tehran before Israel feels the need to take unilateral military action against Iranian nuclear facilities. Senator McCain says that he favors tougher sanctions and opposes direct high-level talks with President Ahmadinejad. Democratic viewpoint, Jason.
We should be talking to them. Just imposing sanctions on them and not talking to them has not gotten us very far. Not with them, certainly not with North Korea, who has already detonated a nuke or two, you know. and moreover, when we look at the evidence of what diplomacy has done with them in the past, I think that is not only a good option, that's the only option. The NIE report that was released last year, they concluded that Iran had shut down its nuclear program back in 2003. So the reason they did that was in response to diplomatic pressure. So I'm left wondering if the only thing we have to offer is tough talk and saber rattling, you know, and talking about bombing them. Maybe we should look at some other options that have actually worked in the past.
Ginger? Republican.
Well, the Islamic Republic of Iran is a pariah that is on a quest for nuclear capability and prowess. And Ahmadinejad and the religious leaders over there fight amongst themselves, and it's a mess, but one thing they agree on is that the Western world is evil. And we need to take that very seriously, and I differ with Jason on one comment that he says that we are not talking. We are talking. We are not talking at the highest levels, but we are talking. Iran possesses a dangerous cocktail of nuclear capability and known sponsorship of terrorism. Ahmadinejad goes around bragging and boasting about his new centrifuge. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard is composed of nuclear scientists. Our troops are being attacked by rockets made in Iran. They're supplying arms and assisting the Shiite militia and the insurgency. It's just a very dangerous mix. And to sit down with them without preconditions, and those preconditions need to be, you know, and when we have more time, we can maybe get into that, it's just irresponsible, and it shows a great deal of naivete. Oh, and one thing that Jason said, that they shut down their nuclear capabilities in 2003. They restarted them the following year. They diversified them into like 11 different sites, and so that if the atomic energy people come and inspect, they could, you know, make the case for civilian use. But they made a big showing of shutting it down, but it's up and running.
What would be your source?
That actually source came from information on Iran that I got in my research this week.
From where?
Well, I can't say exactly for sure because I did a lot. I used a lot of sources. But several of the sources I used all made that comment. So I figured it, you know, must have some credibility.
Well, yeah, but I mean, especially on the internet, you know, there's a lot of things that have the same comments. I would definitely not consider credible.
Well, I think that. Oh, excuse me. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Okay. The NIE, the National Intelligence Estimate, is a concurring opinion of 16 United States intelligence agencies. All 16 of them signed off on this, saying they don't have a nuclear program that's running right now, and they've also concluded that the reason they don't have one is because they succumb to diplomatic pressure and sanctions. And when Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was boasting about his centrifuges, he, at the same time, he was saying they're for civilian use. So it wasn't so much of a threat as a ha-ha, here, I'm doing it anyway.
Well, their erratic behavior, their untrustworthiness, their attacks on British vessels, threats against American vessels, I don't know that we can necessarily trust what their president says. In regard to a foreign policy issue like this, I'm a nurse, and to me, I just had this vision in my mind of like, what if I had a patient with a critical illness, and these are critical issues, and I went to that patient and I said, in my right hand, I have a drug that's been tried, tested, proven, it can handle this situation. And in the left hand, I have one that's newly manufactured, really hasn't been tested, nicely packaged, full of promises, but which one would you like? Well, on issues such as this, I think Senator McCain is clearly better able to handle it. I mean, he has been studying their ideology for decades and knows their culture. And if Obama were our president, he would be handling these type of things for the first time as president of the United States. Too scary.
But then again, John McCain doesn't even know that Ahmadinejad is not the top guy in Iran. So, I mean, it doesn't really say much for that. As far as their trustworthiness, no one thinks Iran is trustworthy. They're not our friend by any stretch of the imagination. But that doesn't preclude us from needing to talk to them, because that's what civilized countries do, is they talk before they start threatening to invade them, or John McCain's little ditty about bombing Iran, which I understand he was joking, but there are other avenues than just saying, do what we say, otherwise we're going to kick your butt.
Well, I think the sanctions are a form of trying to modify behavior, and they have been successful to some degree. But when you sit down with people like that, you legitimize them. Obama wants to sit down with the Castro brothers and Chavez, and okay, we are talking with Iran. It's not at the highest level, no, but maybe some things can be accomplished. I know we've had discussions with them, their ambassador to Iraq and our ambassador to Iraq, talking about what's going on in there as far as Iraqi security. But you can't just sit down with these people at the highest level and hope for the best.
Well, nobody's really talking about going in and sitting down. I mean, it sounds good to say, okay, yeah, we're open to dialogue, and maybe Obama used an extreme example, but there's no way that we would ever allow our president to talk to their president without something going on behind the scenes. So I think it's really an invalid point that we're just going to go in and have tea.
Well, again, I think it boils down to not only experience but also judgment. And, I think that Senator McCain has shown excellent judgment in many, many ways, and I'm not going to get into what I would consider poor judgments on the part of Obama necessarily, but I do believe that when we're dealing with issues like this, judgment and experience are so vital.
Thank you both very much.